either negotiating a job offer, negotiating something that we're seeking to purchase. Maybe it's putting in an offer of a house. Hello. I'm your host, teacher, and guide, Brian Bachand, and welcome back to Soulfully Speaking. And this week's topic is one that I'm very excited to talk about: how to be a better negotiator. Negotiation is something that's always going to come up in our life. It also can just be the simple day-to-day things of a relationship, negotiating what movie you're going to watch, or negotiating who's going to do what or handle what. And I had one particular client that was going through a negotiation that, had reached out and said, I just got the job offer, would love to go through it. And we had a conversation about the negotiation. And for me personally, I love the negotiation that's always related to a job. I don't know what it is. There's just something about that in my own personal life whenever I've had to negotiate under contracts, whether it was taking a role or something I'm doing. It always was a sense of ease. There wasn't a sense of anxiousness that sometimes came around it, but there was a sense of value and a sense that I wanted to do it in the right way that would be best for both, but always kind of wanting to speak from a place of openness, but also value. And I have to say, whenever I've worked with clients who are in the midst of a negotiation, especially related to a job, it's always worked exactly the way the negotiation hopefully wanted to go. And last week's conversation with that one client, it really kind of brought back that negotiation is something that's not always easy. The times where the negotiation has gone well is when there has been clarity exactly what I am asking for. And I think that is the first comment and the first teaching for us to take today in our Soulful classroom, is to know how to ask for what you want, but with confidence. For when we have clarity on what we're seeking, whether, let's say, they'll come back with a salary and you're like, wow, it's nice, it's an increase from what I was getting, but it's still not at the level that I wanted it to be at, then you need to pay attention to that. Because if you don't and you just accept that offer, you'll always be disappointed, not only in the company that they didn't offer you what you were hoping, but disappointed in yourself that you weren't able to articulate back that you believe you were valued at a higher level, and for the reasons why. The reasons we hold back and not negotiating is because there's oftentimes a lack of confidence. Maybe we were brought up in a household or an environment of just be grateful for what you have. Be grateful you got the job. Be grateful you have this. Don't ask for more. Don't rock the boat. You want to be good. Well, no. If something isn't settling right, if you have that intuitive feeling in your gut or your heart that, that's good, but I feel that it just wasn't settling. This just isn't connecting for me. You need to listen to that. That's your spirit trying to get your attention to say, hello, over here. You need to be real about who you are and why you have a value that needs to be reflected. Now, it doesn't always mean it has to be reflected in a monetary way, which is often very common, but it could be reflected in terms of maybe it's a recognition, but it's also about asking confidently what it is that you're seeking and to be thoughtful in how you do that. And the number one way to ask for what you are seeking and to negotiate is to have the confidence to know why. Why am I asking that? Well, and to make it very simple lists. And I use the hand. We have 5 fingers, so no more than 5 reasons. And just go through quickly, just like a child can do, of saying, I like this kind of ice cream. This is my favorite food, my favorite color, what I want. It's the same almost simple way as we can do as an adult. 5 reasons of what it is, the clarity of why you are asking. Well, I just feel that my expertise is at a higher level. I'm asking this because I need this time. I'm asking this because this is going to allow me to be more of who I am. I'm asking for this this because this is going to enable me to really bring my expertise and my contacts into this role, and that needs to be reflected. Quick answers. Because when you have that, when you can name them quickly, it builds the confidence that it was there. And then you present that back. Maybe it's not all five, maybe it's just the top two of the two most important things. But it's a sense of valuing your truth, the sense of valuing your spirit. We will be given opportunities, and especially when it comes to negotiations, stand in our truth, to stand in the spirit of what we believe and know who we are. And if this is something that's very hard for you and these words are kind of jagging at your heart, well, it's probably something that you just have to keep practicing and being open to, because it's not about being selfish. It's not about taking advantage. It's about being true to who you are. So the second teaching I want to offer you today on the topic about being a better negotiator is how to release worry on how your message is going to be received by the other once you say it. So oftentimes that fear, that anxiety is what holds us back. Oh my gosh, how can I go back to this person? What are they going to say? We start playing all these mental games. I call it like streaming Netflix mentally in your mind of this could happen and then this could happen and then they're going to think this, and what if I say this and what if I do this? The most important thing to do is once you know and you have clarity on the 1, 2, 3, or 4 things that you want to ask, that you need to express, that you need to say, this is what I need. This is what I believe I am valued at. This is what my expertise brings. Really would make me very happy to move forward. Once you're able to articulate that and know that with a sense of peace, wow, this is at the core of who I am. I voice this. This is very important. Whether it's in a written format or in a verbal format, you'll express that with a calmness. When we don't have clarity, we often run in circles. We kind of can take forever to get to a point, or we don't use the right words, or we're kind of vague and it doesn't make sense. But when you're expressing with clarity, you don't have to worry about how it's going to be received because you're already speaking from your truth and who you are. And the way to release how it's going to be received is simply almost visualizing that conversation before you have it. If it's in a written communication back to someone, before you send that, visualize them opening up that message, reading it, receiving it, having a sense of, wow, that's a really great insight. Wow, that makes a lot of sense to me. And having them feel what you're saying rather than trying to think that's what they have to do. Visualize them feeling what you're saying and listening and being there. You come from a place of openness, kindness, clarity. You visualize them receiving that, and now you're releasing that. You simply say, may what I'm about to share be received in the openness that it's being brought forward, and may it be for the highest good for myself and for all involved. And it releases and opens up the conversation. The last point that is very important in the negotiation is how to listen with an openness. Sometimes negotiations take more than one time. Sometimes it's coming back a second time. But it's a sense of being open to listen. Because if we do not have a sense of openness in negotiation and we're listening only to what we want to hear and we feel we have to convince them or you want to win because that's what you know it's the right thing to do, it will always fall. Listen with an openness. And if for some reason it came back and it didn't settle, one of the most beautiful things you can say is, I hear you. I hear exactly everything you said, but I need some time to reflect on this. That's a great way, if you're feeling emotions bubble up, to say, I hear everything you said. Thank you. I need a little time to reflect on it, and I'll be back to you. And it gives you that space to let it kind of integrate, to reflect and say, you know what? That was a really good point that they made. I'm overthinking this. Or, you know what, I need to go back. And you take the same steps to articulate again what it is that you need to release what the worry and the fear is, and seeing them receiving that message. And if it comes back that they're still not responding, the question then comes down to you is, this isn't the right alignment. I've expressed what I needed, but it's not connecting. And there's something here that's just, I can't put my finger on it, but it's just not aligning. It's not bringing me the peace. In the end, you will have a sense of peace. Even if something has to be adjusted, or you're like, you know what, I need to release that. I accept what they've come back with. That makes sense. I'm open to this, because it will always bring you a sense of peace. If there's any sense of anxiousness, it just doesn't feel right, or it's not there, then there's a deeper moment that you need to spend some more time reflecting there. As always, I thank you for joining in. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I wish you a beautiful and soulful day until we connect again. Take care.